You've been investing for 3 years. You've put in $18,000 of your own money. Your account shows $20,000, $2,000 of gains in 3 years. Now, here's the part nobody warns you about. This is exactly where people abandon a plan that would have worked. Not because it failed, but because it felt like it failed. Somewhere out there, someone you know made that freelancing on the side in a couple of months. Another friend bought and resold a car for a quick profit. Someone else hit a lucky crypto trade. And in that moment, a dangerous thought creeps in. Maybe this whole investing thing is a waste of time. Maybe you're just bad at this. And if you listen to that thought, this is where your future quietly collapses. Here's what almost no one tells you. Wealth doesn't grow smoothly. It grows in phases. And there are 3 specific net worth milestones where the experience of money completely changes. The first is when growth finally starts pulling its own weight. The second is when money starts matching your effort. And the third is when work stops feeling mandatory. Miss these transitions and investing feels pointless for years. Stay long enough to reach them, and the math flips in your favor. My name is Joe, and I show you the simple ways to make more money and how to avoid the mistakes that keep most people broke. Let's get into it. Here's why this messes with your head in the early years. Human brains expect effort to show results quickly. Investing breaks that feedback loop completely. It's like going to the gym 4 days a week, eating better, lifting heavier, and then checking the mirror after 3 months and seeing nothing different. Same body, same weight, same doubts. That's when most people quit, not because the system doesn't work, but because it hasn't shown proof yet. Building wealth works the same way, only worse. There's no mirror, just a number on a screen that barely moves while everyone around you looks like they're winning. Here's the mistake that costs people years. They assume slow growth means something is wrong, that they picked the wrong strategy, so they start tinkering, changing plans, or worse, they stop protecting the system altogether. Early on, your money doesn't feel like it's doing anything because it isn't. You are the engine. If you invest $500 a month, that's $6,000 a year from you. The market might only add $500, maybe $1,000 on a good year. So it feels like the market isn't helping at all. That doesn't mean the system is broken. It means it hasn't reached scale yet. Most people treat this like a verdict instead of a transition, like the market said you're bad at this instead of you're early. This is where comparison sneaks in. Your college roommate posts photos from their 3rd trip to Europe this year. A coworker rolls up in a brand new F-150 with a $700 monthly payment. Your cousin just closed on a 4-bedroom house in the suburbs with a mortgage that's double your rent. Saving starts to feel like punishment instead of progress. By year 3, someone investing $500 a month has put in $18,000. The account might show $20,000. The visible gain barely covers a used car. By year 5, contributions are closer to $36,000. The balance might be $42,000 if markets cooperate. 5 years of discipline and the extra money still feels small. That's usually when people don't quit outright. They take what feels like a reasonable pause. Contributions get lowered. Automatic transfers get paused just for a couple months. But momentum is easier to keep than rebuild. A pause turns into 2 months. 2 months turns into 6. And suddenly the account hasn't grown. Not because the market failed, but because the engine shut off. I know someone who paused at year 4 for a wedding. Then came honeymoon expenses, then a bigger place. 3 years later, they finally restarted. Same discipline, but they'd lost years of compounding when every dollar mattered most. Not because they were reckless, because they paused when it felt hardest. This brings us to the first milestone. Milestone 1, when growth stops feeling insulting. Around $100,000. The first $100,000 isn't special because it's magic. It's special because it's the point where money finally starts pulling its own weight. With modest contributions of $500 a month, this often takes 7 to 10 years. When you get there, a normal market year can add $7,000 to $10,000 without you doing anything extra. For the first time, growth feels visible. The account starts contributing real effort instead of just storing discipline. That's why people say the first $100,000 is the hardest. Not because the next dollars are easier to save, but because the math finally starts helping instead of just sitting there. If you're in that phase right now, drop a comment with where you're at. Just your year in a rough balance. Most people never reach this milestone. They quit at $40,000. They slow down at $60,000. They step off right before the math flips. And the tragic part is that they'll never know how close they actually were to the turning point. Milestone 2. When growth matches your effort, roughly $150,000 to $250,000. The second shift is about parity. This is when annual market growth starts matching what you personally contribute each year. If you're putting in $10,000 and the market adds $10,000, effort and reward finally feel balanced. A strong year can add $15,000 to $20,000. Progress becomes noticeable. Patience turns into confidence. You stop checking your account obsessively because the direction finally feels obvious. The stress doesn't disappear completely, but it changes form. You're no longer worried about whether the system works. You're worried about protecting what you've built. But life still feels tight for many people here. Bills get paid, the account isn't empty, nothing is on fire, but the margin is thin. A $900 car repair shouldn't feel like a crisis, but it does when there's only $2,000 between you and zero. Raises disappear into rent increases. One unexpected expense absorbs all your flexibility. Opportunities feel heavier. Risks feel larger than they should. You stay quiet when you should push back. You tolerate bad clients because walking away would mean touching savings you worked too hard to build. It isn't fear, it's math. When the buffer is small, every decision carries weight it shouldn't have to carry. This is the part that doesn't show up in spreadsheets. Financial stress doesn't just limit your bank account, it limits your behavior, your willingness to take chances, your ability to think long-term. People operating with thin margins make defensive decisions, not offensive ones. I've seen people making good money live exactly like this. Six-figure salaries, nice apartments, decent cars, zero flexibility. One missed paycheck away from panic. From the outside, it looks successful. From the inside, it's exhausting. What's happening isn't a money problem, it's a scale problem. Milestone 3. When money replaces dependence. Around $700,000 to $1 million. The final shift happens when your portfolio can grow what you earn in a year. Let's say you make $70,000 annually. When your investments can generate $70,000 in a strong year, work stops feeling like a lifeline. Not because you're quitting tomorrow, but because dependence is gone. At $700,000, a 10% year adds $70,000. At $1 million, a normal year can add more than many full-time salaries. That's when leverage appears. That's when money starts buying posture. You negotiate differently. You tolerate less nonsense. Money didn't change you, the math did. Two people earning the same income live very different lives depending on their buffer. One stays stuck in a job they hate because debt and payments leave no room to move. The other can negotiate harder or walk away. Those savings didn't make them braver. They made risk affordable. I've seen this firsthand. A friend stayed in a job he hated for years, underpaid and stressed because he had no buffer. Credit card debt meant zero leverage. Meanwhile, someone earning roughly the same, but sitting on several months of expenses could negotiate harder, walk away, or reset completely. Same income, completely different freedom. This is what people mean when they say money buys freedom, but it arrives in layers. Emergency leverage first, then decision leverage, then time leverage. This is also where people get careless. When margin appears, it's tempting to spend it immediately. The apartment goes from $1,200 to $1,800 a month because now you can afford the nice neighborhood. The reliable Honda gets traded for a $40,000 SUV with a $500 payment. On paper, it looks fine. Emotionally, it puts the weight right back on. Margin isn't meant to be spent right away. It's meant to harden posture first. The system only works if it's protected, automated, boring on purpose. Money moves before lifestyle gets a vote. Raises get captured before spending expands. Math does the work, so discipline doesn't have to. Eventually, the system stands on its own. Time flips sides. It stops working against you and starts working for you. Wealth doesn't arrive with fireworks. It builds silently while life is busy happening. Most people don't fail. They leave early. They quit during a normal week when nothing feels broken and nothing feels rewarding either. Here's what I want to know. Which milestone are you chasing right now? Drop your number and your year in the comments. And if you're past all three, tell everyone below what you wish you'd known at the start.